Hey, what's going on guys, it's Hansol here, and today I have a video on stat priority for fire mages updated for patch 5.1. So before I get into the stats, I wanted to actually talk a little bit about fire mages and the changes and how it's affected me so far in the gameplay. So as you guys may know, I am level 90 now, and keep in mind this video is being shot before season 12, so the honor gear and conquest gear has not been released yet. So right now I'm wearing full contenders crafted set with a few heroic PvE off pieces. Nothing special. I actually have 2 epics though, which is pretty nice, but you know, that's all gonna change once the gear comes out anyways. Hold on, I'm getting a phone call. I'm gonna ignore that real quick. And anyways, getting into fire mages aren't really about dots anymore. Well, they kind of are, but you aren't going to be relying on scoring kills with combustion ticks. As you can see, fire mages have become a lot more bursty, and instead of relying on combustion, you're going to be relying on fat, juicy pyros. So with deep freeze, now you're able to score hot streak procs very easily. Also with heating up, that's another cool new mechanic they put up, but I'll get into that a little bit more later. But yeah, just keep in mind that combustion has the overall damage has been nerfed, but it's more used as a tool of getting procs now, and also using it as a stun for CC. So you gotta actually look at combustion in a different perspective now, just because how much they've changed it. So let's get into it a little bit right here. Alright, so I'm gonna quickly demonstrate the rotation, as you guys may call it, for shattering. So of course, before you do this, you want to obviously root them to start your shatters. And first of all, you want to scorch first to get a heating up, then deep infernal blast for pyro proc, throw the pyro in, combust, throw another pyro in, infernal blast, and pyro again. So I know that was a little quick, you guys probably didn't catch on with this, so I'm going to show it in slow motion once more right here. Alright, so once again, you're going to start with the Frost Nova, scorch it for heating up, deep freeze Infernal Blast to get the hot streak proc, throw that Pyro Blast in their face, and since it crit, you're going to want to combust it. And since combust also crit, since he's frozen, you'll get another Pyro Blast proc, throw that in, Infernal Blast again, since the Infernal Blast cooldown reset when you combusted, throw that Pyro Blast in again, and they should be dead. So yeah, that was in slow motion right there. I hope you guys caught it. It takes a little bit of practice, but once you get the hang of it, it is goddamn fun. It is just really awesome. It's really nice having deep as a fire mage. It makes swaps much easier. I can't wait to use it in arena. I mean, back in Cataclysm, you would not be able to swap the healers unless you had like a pyro proc, but things have changed, my friend. Alright, so since we got the basics covered, we're going to move on to the stat priority. But before we actually start on this topic, I want to make sure that you guys understand that there are no more cookie cutter builds. So like this, I really like that Blizz did this to the game, because you're able to now customize your character more than ever before. And you know, you can actually have a bit of uniqueness to your tune. So yeah, with that being said, I have 2 different builds here shown today. One for Battlegrounds and one for Arena. And before I actually start talking about it, I want you guys to know that this is personal preference. This is the way I like to play, and it works for me. So I'm not saying it'll work for everybody, but it seems to work for me, so I'd like to share it with you guys. So the first one is for Battlegrounds. Obviously, first things first, you want to have your 6.0% hit cap. That way you aren't missing your spells and such. Next is crit. I've said this many times before, and I'll say it again. Crit is very important for fire. Like, fire revolves around crit. No crits means no procs, and no procs means no burst damage. So pretty much, if you have no crit, you're screwed. So this is a stat you kind of want to stack as much as you can, after you've gotten hit cap, of course. And so after crit is mastery. What mastery does is it increases your damage over time effects. It greatly increases it. So the more mastery you have, the more dot damage you'll be doing. For instance, your ignite. Now ignite doesn't trigger off crits anymore. It triggers off any fire damage, which is very nice. And then last but not least is haste. You won't be really needing haste from Battlegrounds. And then the next build is for Arena. Obviously 6% hit again. Have at least a minimum of 16.67% crit. So you are always critting on shatters. And then after that, I like to actually have 15.01% haste, and then as much more crit as possible. So what this does, having this much amount of haste, makes your gameplay a little faster. I don't recommend it for beginners because with more haste means shorter global cooldowns, which means you're able to fit a lot more spells within a matter of seconds than you used to be able to. So this build with haste is more recommended for experienced players that are able to react fast to their situations more than average, I guess. And just being able to think quickly and react quickly to everything is always good. But if you're starting out and you're just a beginner, start with the battleground build just because it has more crit and you're actually going to be able to get the feel of the class a bit more.